Hey guys, if you've come here for MH17 or MH370, you've come to the right place. Over the weekend, I've compiled a good amount of information that might be helpful in your own investigation, as well as sharing with others to get this information out. Uh, Very important, in my opinion, is the mainstream media, of course, never never deals us a full deck of cards. So just to get started, back in March 2014, when MH370 was supposedly missing, they had Joe Rosenberg was on Greta Van Susteren, Fox News, and he was pushing the issue about Israel calling out Iran for involvement in MH370, which at this point is pretty ridiculous. But both him and then also Yafet, member of the Israeli Secret Service, were both pushing that the two people with stolen passports were Israeli, and that they were the ones involved in the missing plane. But um, at any rate, this was definitely known to be false by many countries, and they just didn't buy into it because it was a ridiculous push by Israel to push blame on other countries. One of the big things that I found was the report from plane spotters. Israel has an identical Malaysia Airlines Boeing 777 in storage in Tel Aviv since November 2013. I pulled this up actually on YouTube. I got to give credit to Dabu77 for this post. Basically, what it says is that the airframe status is stored, so it's not currently in use. It is GA Telesis is the holding company, and date delivered was on October 21st, 2013, stored at TLV, Tel Aviv. If we look further into what is GA Telesis, they're headquartered in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and that's important to know later on in this documentary. GA Telesis is one of the world's largest commercial aerospace firms with over $1 billion in assets under management. If we take a look at their company overview, we have Abdul Mulberry as the CEO, also some other board members, Ecclestone and Richard Murdoch, some familiar names. You can read through Abdul Mulberry's page, or any other page for that matter. You can read through. I leave the URL links up at the top for you to reference later if you want to go back. I won't sit on each page for too long, but just pretty much summarize what I'm going through. Rupert Murdoch is, of course, the multi-billionaire, 13.4 billion, one of the richest people in the world, but not anybody you see in the news too often. Just some of the people that you hear about among the conspiracy theorist groups. Back in May 2014, there was an article, TPG Kazan National team up for 132 million, purchasing up Philippine mass housing sharing buys. This is pretty large, but what it shows is that TPG and Kazan National teaming up. TPG is basically majority Israeli-owned funded company. Kazan National is Malaysia's main company. There's also another article just the other day, Blackstone, KKR, TPG, and talks to settle deal collusion lawsuit. Carlyle Group was also mentioned in the article, but it wasn't confirmed. Again, what do all these companies have in common? Very large companies that deal a lot with Israel and have a lot of head personnel are Israeli. So these companies' interests are generally Israeli interests first. after the MH17 crash, of course, they had news that the stock price dropped 18%. Well, with the way that things are played out in the news, that's pretty logical that the stock would go down. But what's more interesting is that Khazanah has been speculating the purchase or privatization of Malaysia Airlines shares. And of course, if they're going to buy up all the shares, they would want the share price to drop to get a really good deal. So the aviation firm's losses reached 82 million in the quarter ended March 31st, 2014. So really, the media attention that's on them, all the negative attention about their company is in some ways a good thing if somebody is looking to take this company back private and kind of rebuild it from there. If we go to Khazanah.com, if we go into their portfolio, they are a holder of many companies, but the major one is Malaysia Airports, Malaysia Airlines. Who is Khazanah's leadership? Board of directors, top board of directors, Mr. Najib Razak. Where have you seen this guy before? He's been in the news for both airline crashes. He is the board of directors for Khazanah. He is the Prime Minister of Malaysia, and he runs Malaysia's finance sector. I found it interesting because on one of the pages they had Malaysia's Prime Minister's grandmother killed on flight MH17, and accordingly she was in her 80s. And if you just take a look at this guy almost looked like he's in his 80s. I mean, maybe late 60s at best. But I don't think this guy has any grandmother that is riding on flights, especially flight MH17. Very highly doubtful, and she would be over, I don't know, she'd probably have to be over 100 years old. So you guys might want to look into that, but very doubtful on that. Just going to run through some pictures of the crash. I found this one kind of interesting because the whole top of the plane is just in a kind of an awkwardly straight piece. For it being just laying in a field. There's no, keep in mind too, all these pieces, there are no burn marks that really, for me, there would be, if there was an explosion, you'd see burn marks. Where there's fire, there's burns. Again, very clean pieces, reflecting this guy's shadows. Obviously not burn, and conveniently, so we know that Malaysia was in fact the airline. They always leave that nice and convenient for us to figure out. Have some other pieces, bits and pieces that they put off in a field. They must have moved these. I'm guessing they moved these out of where the crash was, because these are this is a green field, and the crash was very dark, no grass. So this one I thought was kind of unique. It looked like there was a perforated edges on this, and it just looks really. I know airlines are made of aluminum, but it just looks a little flimsy. You can see it looks like it's got two layers at the bottom. Something propping it up underneath. I don't know. Just looks a little bit like a set to me, but you can decide for yourself. I thought this was kind of sick, putting an air sickness bag. I'm trying to figure out how there could be a whole plane that goes up in flames, crashes, and then again we have this a little bitty paper. Look at this. This is clearly somebody tore this. There's no. That's not a burn mark. You would see little singes of color, of brown, even if that was burned. This is clearly just ripped and taken for show. The passports too that they had, passports were completely clean, and You can go to LiveLeak if you wanted to see the video on that. But from my understanding, I'm not an expert Photoshop, but I do know a good amount. And if you take a look at this, this whiteness covering just this weird section here, this definitely looks Photoshopped. It was rather seemed kind of more cloudy actually in a lot of the pictures, and the plane crashed kind of close to about between 4 and 4:30 Ukraine time. So I also circled this because you've seen the supposed burned out engine in a lot of the photos, and look at how small it looks compared to these guys walking by. It's really small. But then if we take another look, oh my God, we've got another picture here, and the perspective is close to the same in terms of the level of land and the sky percentage. And this is almost the same, so the perspective levels actually should be the same. They should be relatively the same size, and in this case it's almost as large as these people. Also to note, this guy is missing an arm, so I'm not really sure how that works, but anyways, at any rate, these are photos I just pulled from the news. Here's a picture that doesn't look like it has any Photoshop. But as you can see, this area is pretty vast area where there's no grass and it's all dirt. And I just want to make the distinction because they said this was scattered amongst up to 10 miles of scattered debris. So if there's a scattered debris, it wouldn't come crashing down and making this big of an area. So there's just some disconnect for me. Just a couple more pictures of the crash. I'm just going to run through. I was kind of intrigued because they have these small flames, and it's just kind of repeating over and over in these same pictures. And they also have pink smoke. I'm not sure where that comes from, but it is not natural to have that. And again, in this picture, you see the same pile with just a little bit of fire. Daylight is not gone yet. Okay, as you can see, it's getting darker, and then as it gets darker outside, the flame gets higher. I don't really understand why. This flame right here, I'm not even sure if that's a flame or it looks kind of molting metal, maybe. But there's just a lot of there's more flame here than what we saw in the previous pictures in lighter daylight. And then they show it being put out now. It looks much more huge now that it's night, which seems kind of backwards, but we'll leave it at that. Again, a couple more pictures, more pink smoke, and more pink smoke. One more time, just for perspective, this thing here, the perspective just seems way off because it's, again, the camera it's sitting on the ground here, and it just is so big and covers up these people. It looks like this was a Photoshop layer. I don't really get why it's this large from this perspective. What can make fire purple, potassium chloride, why they would add it in, I have no idea, but this is probably the only picture that doesn't look like it has the same mixture. This picture really got me, and there's definitely photoshopping done in this picture. Just cover a couple things I think it's important to know. Just so you know that the the photos that are in the media, there's definitely some that are photoshopped. I'm not saying they all are, but definitely some. And first, I'm just going to question what group of guys stands this close to each other at this time of night for a photo op. If we look at this guy here, first of all, it's just a perfect square. This head was basically photoshopped in on the back. This back guy's head, same thing. The shadow from this guy's just too big, extenuating, and it's perfectly black. It's just too big for too big of a shadow here, and just goes to complete blackness. There should be some more pixelation in here, and there's not really anything. If we look at this guy up front, it looks like he came from the WWF, but if we look at his elbow covers over the t-shirt of the other guy, and this is just really sloppy on the corners. They didn't erase these pixels outside the edge. If you know anything about Photoshop, for instance, putting eBay pictures on in front of white backgrounds, that's usually how you outline it, and they're just really sloppy there. I found it kind of funny that he had his finger on the trigger like he's going to shoot somebody. And if you look, even his finger, my God, see this very pinkish overlay here. You see the line coming down, and you see this actual kind of a gap here. So this was overlaid on the actual picture. He actually has his hand clenched closed, all 4 fingers, but they photoshopped this finger on just to kind of make him look more of a badass. So, but I thought that was kind of funny. And he's got his pants. This guy's got, I don't know what this is down here. Pant leg somehow caught behind this, in between this guy's pants, and then we have this I don't know what it is, some kind of purple smog all on the left side of the photo. It looks like they forgot to erase some kind of overlay, added pixels onto the screen, and it's showing up because it's not a perfect block. But yeah, definitely photoshopping going on. So anyways, getting back on track, in the UK, of course, there's a crisis, and one of the main crises is actually about oil. They've had multiple things about the gas issue that they're having between Russia supplying the Ukraine with oil, and this is really all what the war is about, all what the agenda is pushing for, in terms of getting more action and more people involved in the Ukraine. Obviously, the more people that get there, then the more confusing it becomes, and then it's just a snowball effect. But on July 11th, they had EU-Russian Federation meeting on the effects of implementation of the EU-Ukraine AADCFTA. And basically, if you read through this, a little bit more of a long read, but Russia and the Ukraine are trying to work together to kind of broker a deal to have increase their economic responsibility to each other and increase the level of cooperation between the two countries. So they're actually, behind closed doors, they're actually working to make improvements. Little would you know from what they have in the mainstream news. So getting to the MH17, it was marked as taking off at 12:30 p.m. From Schiphol Airport near Amsterdam, the Netherlands. And Regis Krella, this was one of the people that was on the supposedly on the plane, and excuse me, he works for Air Amsterdam, but actually that's a nightclub, not an airline. But he was the one that posted this convenient photo. It just looks so perfect. I would think he was a photographer and not a somebody who works in a nightclub. It just looks so clean cut, but this confirms his name is on the ticket, Gate 3, G3, which is where the plane supposedly left from. And on FlightAware, you can pull up the flight data logs. This is the data log for MH17. All I'm going to look at right now that I'm interested in is the very bottom, 9:19 a.m. This was the last flight log data that was left on this site. This basically means that the contact was lost at 9:19 a.m. However, this is Eastern Standard Time, so what I did was I converted this to the CEST time in Amsterdam to figure out exactly when this plane crashed. And being that it left, oops, let me just go back once more. Left roughly. Actually, it was cut off, left earlier than this, but it stopped at 9:19 Eastern, so between 9 and 9:30 Eastern Standard would be equivalent to 3 and 3:30 in Amsterdam. And that leaves us with a problem because Regis Krolla had edited his history. Instead of going back to my roots, off to Bali, going back to my roots, see you very soon, Bali. Edited 5:36 p.m. Amsterdam time on his Facebook. So, being that the plane supposedly left at 12:30 local time, the plane had already crashed at this point, and trying to figure out how he could be on the plane if that's the case. There was also Ariza Ghazali had left a post Thursday, July 17th, 5:29 p.m. Not really sure what the post is about, but the point is she posted it again about 5:30 p.m., which the plane had already gone, so there couldn't be contact at this point if she was on the plane. With the numbers I gave us, 295 people on board, 280 passengers, and 15 crew members. Ukraine authorities told U.S. Embassy officials that everyone on the plane was believed dead, and the aircraft debris was scattered over a 10-mile swath of land. So that's where I was getting that before. Was actually this Yahoo News article. An aide to Ukraine's interior minister, quoted by Interfax, said the total number of dead in the crash was more than 300 and included 23 U.S. citizens. I don't know where they're getting this U.S. citizens from, but they had to retract this, and somebody didn't get their story straight, and that's why it most likely came out. Because I don't know why anybody would speculate on an exact number of citizens if they weren't trying to purposely mix things up, or if they just made an error. MH17 manifest. This was on another page. This was a closer breakdown. If you add these up, it actually adds to 294. And this was the following one. They said, okay, no more 23 Americans. This is the new breakdown. And they said it was 298 people, but actually, if you add these up, 294. So the report is still missing 4 people, which is kind of weird. You can do the math for yourself. Helicopter pilot Cameron Daziel, who lived in South Africa but used a British passport, was named today as another victim, the 6th Briton. The interesting thing about Cameron Daziel, he's a South African. He works in Malaysia. Supposedly he was in training for Amsterdam and flying back to where he lives. But the interesting thing is that they marked him as a British national. I have no idea why, and I wasn't able to figure this one out. But the total British counts came out, as we can see on the past one, was 9. But actually, adding this guy in as a Brit actually made it 10, and that was one of the people that was extra. And don't ask me why he wasn't included, but for some reason they're calling him a Brit, even though he's clearly from South Africa. If you pull him up, Mr. Corpan. I'll put out this post. This post is actually the link for everything, and you'll find out why at the end. But this was a big mistake, and basically what he did was post that if you don't see the flight again, then this is what it looks like, kind of leading us on to believe that maybe something's up. They said, I think what happened is that people were interested, people saw this and they weren't supposed to find it, and then what happened was the media jumped on and covered it up and said that he was in fact riding on this plane. So that's another on his Facebook post. You can check it out. Dutch family of 6 killed in MH17 Korpan. So not only him, but they're saying his girlfriend or wife also dead on the flight. The only problem I have is that these two again are not listed on the flight manifest. So if you check out the flight manifest, definitely get a copy of MH17 and MH370. It's going to be very important that you have your own copy, that you can verify all the names that I run through, but these were not on the list. Going back to MH370 now, jumping back, Mr. Luigi Maraldi had a picture of him in Phuket. He was one of the guys who supposedly was on MH370, has passport stolen inconveniently. Again, I checked this guy's Facebook, just posted 8 hours ago, but that checks out because if we assume that to be true, then he would still be alive today. So this guy, Christian Kozel, same scenario. They said his passport was missing, and again, we got Christian Kozel, 30-year-old Austrian, and Luigi Maraldi, 37-year-old Italian, had both had passports stolen but listed on flight MH370. So those guys, technically, they both check out. They both have recent updates, much past the date in which MH370 went disappearing. But then, whoa. We get to this guy, this post. Christian Kozel, a 61-year-old former masseur from Salzburg, says his passport was stolen years ago in Thailand. A version of his passport was used by 19-year-old Iranian so-and-so. The other stolen passport belonged to Italian Luigi Maraldi. Now, what's up? Christian Kozel, 61-year-old. Let's back that up. Okay, we got Christian Kozel. This is the 30-year-old, and again, he looks closer to being 30 than the other guy. So what's going on here? Basically, what they did was they had to cover up the missing passports for the Iranians, which was fed through by Israel, and they had to make a quick cover-up, and they probably had two people post out news at roughly the same period of time, and they used two different pictures of people, and they didn't get all the information straight, so there was a duplicate. This here, Malaysian TV and theater actress Shubha Jaya and her Dutch husband returning back to Kuala Lumpur. Check the list. Shubha Jaya not on there. Paul Goes and Baby Kayla are, but not Shubha Jaya. Not sure why. Again, going back to 370, a lot of this stuff is going to tie into 17. There's actually a lot more info on 370, which is going to shed light on 17 moving forward from here. This, for me, just looks really staged. I don't know how anybody could act like they're crying with this many media people around you. I think you'd kind of need some privacy, and this just, I'm not buying it. Had this Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 steward, ethnic Indian Sanjit Singh Sandhu's wife, who was also an air stewardess with the airline, was supposed to have been on board the ill-fated MH370, which went missing on March 7th. Was supposed to, but her life was spared when she switched with a colleague. Good thing. However, now on the next airline, they're saying husband, Sanjit, not so lucky. In an evil twist of fate, he was not supposed to be on MH17, but jumped in for a colleague, and he's no longer with us today. So now I know there's coincidences that do occur. To have two people's coincidences be exactly opposite, husband and wife, both working for the same company, itself is doubtful. But even if, let's say, they run the same flight patterns, and they both work on the same airline, even the chance that this same scenario would happen is it's like hitting a lottery. And again, we get this double tragedy. Family loses relatives on MH17 and MH370. Now, again, these lottery strikes just like pop up, and you can kind of read through this one. But basically, Rodney and Mary Burroughs missing on MH370. They had a pair of relatives that were missing on MH17, which recently just happened. But here's my thing on this. If you've got family members who are flying on MH370, go missing on a Malaysian Airlines flight, who in their right mind is going to put more family members on a Malaysian Airlines flight? You just don't do it. You would be too emotional, too smart to do it again. I just don't see these people doing it unless they know that MH370 didn't actually go down. And then going back to the Burroughs family, here we have Sarah Bott. So very, very tragic. Extra prayers for the Burroughs family. So here she is posting on July 18th of this updated. Not really sure why she's being such an advocate for these people. She shouldn't really even know them. I mean, she's just the partner of Philip Wood, who was the one missing on MH370. But she's actually the one of the key people in this whole investigation. Who is Sarah Bott? What they tell you in the news is not really who she is. She graduated from 1988, University of Michigan. Went through some work. Ended up being managing director at Tescom in Tel Aviv, Israel. Becoming a partner of Sino Partners in 2006. Which is a company that's involved in automation of planes, remote controlling planes using automation. In 2011, Sarah Bach was an intern and substitute teacher at the Beijing International School of Singapore. She also was a consultant, so forth. Important thing here is teacher at Beijing International. The article here describes actually a Fox exec getting fired over an email that was supposedly sent to Sarah in regards to 370, and basically go ahead and click on it. Basically, she was trying to get compensation for the family victims, and what I found interesting about this, actually, not so much the scandal part, but more that she had mentioned a partner for 9 years to Philip, because that was their original storyline, was that they've been partner for 9 years. But actually, if we talk about who Sarah actually is, her original family is with Stephen Bott and their sons, Noah, Ryan, daughter Madison. That's actually her real, or I should say past family. They're actually now divorced. This Lena Lee is actually the new fiance of Stephen. He had just proposed. He works at Western Academy of Beijing. And there's his wife. So obviously they're not together anymore. But clearly you see they're up on top, nice place, probably 5-star hotel, 4-star hotel, and Obviously, he's not a teacher. He's the CFO of the company that he works at. Going to this picture, again, just added confirmation. She's got friends marking on her thing. Are you still in China? So forth and so forth. So when she comes on the media and acts like she's from Atlanta, or acts like she lives in Texas, which is supposedly where Philip Wood is from, it's not really the case at all. And she really has a different life than that. She had started posting these messages on her Facebook, basically acting like these are messages to Philip, who is no longer with her, but may return. But if you look through some of these messages, read them, they do seem very specific and just too, I don't know, just too specific to post publicly like this. And I just feel like they're actually together at this time, and she's just posting these, and they're just pretty much laughing at what they're posting because it's what they're doing. Yeah. So you can kind of run through, but a lot of these pictures look pretty fresh, and you see Philip here, and with her again here, and you see this note from Narendran KS. She had shared a note on her Facebook, and this guy's going to become really important later. It's somewhat important, but the important thing is that you remember this face. Again, here she is posting a note March 26th. She's posting a photo inside her place. She's obviously in Malaysia. This is definitely his feet, because his feet were big on the other picture I showed you, and that was made a comment on even of her friends. So I'm trying to figure out how his feet are here, and this is in Malaysia, and just seems like it's actually what she's writing about they're actually doing, but she's acting like it's just a dream. At any rate, I feel like they're laughing at all of us. So to get on to the really good stuff, we have departures from Amsterdam Airport, 12 o'clock, Kuala Lumpur. This was marked Friday, the 18th of July. Kuala Lumpur, MH17, Malaysia Airlines departed. Details. Okay, this had left roughly 12 o'clock. MH17 departed 12:05. Departure 3, check-in 29, gate 20. So the gate changed. Why did the gate change? Because actually, again, if we look, this was Friday the 18th. The plane actually left, or supposedly left, on the 17th. So why would this say the 18th? Well, if we look at Malaysia Airport's system, we have Malaysia MH17, and we have it on the date. Now, it was leaving on the 17th, arriving in Malaysia on the morning of the 18th. So I pull up the 18th data, and as you can see, Amsterdam, Kuala Lumpur, this flight was marked as canceled. So if this flight was canceled in the system, it means it never happened. It would be like a blank status if it was interim, or if it had even left, it would have said departed or something like that, but it would have some kind of status. It wouldn't say canceled. Canceled means it never left. Again, we see on the 19th, following MH17, the dates, the times, 6 in the morning, Amsterdam, Kuala Lumpur, landed Bam. So MH17 did not fly out on the 17th, therefore it couldn't have crashed on the 17th. It did, however, make it to its destination in one piece on the 19th. And just for the record, in case somebody is not convinced at this, I even pulled up a third source off of Flight Radar 24, and to take the date, 7/17/2014, MH17, Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur, canceled, did not happen. Malaysia Airlines says jet not flying over restricted airspace, lists 12 Indonesian passengers. But what, again, is important here, people take a picture of canceled KLM's KL4103, which operated at Malaysia Airlines MH17, operated as Malaysia Airlines MH17, canceled. So everybody's taking pictures, and this is, again, I mean, this is just all kind of stage, but it was canceled. This is Ghislain Watrellos. Who is this exactly? He works for the Grange. He's actually one of the French people associated with the crash of 370. Supposedly he had one daughter, one son, and his wife who were on the plane who did not make it. This guy is, as you can see, had executive P&L authority for an organization as large as 500 million euros. This guy's got some big bucks. Not to say he owns 500 million euros, but he does big business in France, and pretty much multinational company, having worked in Beijing for over 6 years. So he's got a connection to Beijing already. And then now he's back in France, conveniently. His son, Hadrian, one of the people on the list, hadn't posted since January 5th, and that's understandable if he did not make it. I went ahead and I checked on Hadrian's list, and I was looking for Ambre, the daughter, because the daughter was not listed under the father's friends list, which I thought was a little awkward, unless there's something to hide. But this was not taken off of the son's list, and there is not Ambre's last name, Watrellos, should be, but if you do first name search, you still get it pulled up. And what do you know? She has edited post May 27th, and she was one of the people on MH370. I went to Ghislain Watrellos' friends list, and my God, look who I found. Mr. Narendran, KS, Sarah, Hamel, Bot. So now I've got these associations with Sarah Bot and this guy, completely out of the blue, and was not expecting this at all, but this kind of blows things wide open. So the only thing I could understand, maybe, if, you know, I don't know, by any chance, Sarah reached out to Ghislain because supposedly Philip Wood was dead, and this is one of the victims' families. Maybe, but why this guy? This guy doesn't have anything to do with any of this. So it's really not the case. And if you pull up this guy lives in, like, I forget where he lives, Malaysia or India, I don't know. But, going down, also have two more people who are important. This person here and Quang Zhang. Forgive me if I mispronounce these names. And here is MH370 France. The father had put up this website. One of our goals beyond the call for donations. So they're asking for donations, but they're also pushing France to more on an agenda to be transparent in terms of solving this MH370, but the problem why these countries can't solve it is because it didn't really happen. But people are pushing these agendas on certain countries, and I find it interesting that a guy with this much money would be asking for donations for helping find answers for his family when he's, he is pretty stacked. On to another person. Here we have June 16th. You'll see Ming-Fei Ma, wife of Dr. Yu-Chen Li. So this must be Ming-Fei Ma. She was not on the list, but Dr. Yu-Chen Li was on the list. And again, you see this person associated with Sarah Bott, Geisling Watralos. I'm not sure if this person is of any interest or not. I saw the last name Teo, and one of the last names of the passengers on MH17 is Teo, but I couldn't confirm if they're related or not. Going back to Quan Zhang, she has a recently updated profile, lives in Portland, Oregon. Again, the name where you saw it was here. So this was Zhang Quine, or I don't know, they're having it backwards here. Same person, photo taken June 13th, holds up a photo taken with her husband, Wang Hubin. Wang Hubin was actually one of the people who was on MH370 list, and he is one of the people who will also come across. I think on one of these posts, maybe have this one out of line. We'll come back to him. Rui Kayo, another name, MH370, recent update. Check it off. There's a picture. Yingding was on the list. Recent update. Shouldn't be any updates if these passengers from 370. Making posts now, coming back to their profile pages, thinking nobody's thinking anything of them. Well, I went through the list and I went to find everybody who had an updated post. Z Liu, another post, June 23rd. Cross it off. Yunhua Bao, Chinese, living in Angola. Wen Jigan. Posted this photo April 29th after the March date. We have Yanlin Li posting April 24th, which is after, again, March 8th was when the plane went missing. Wei Lu, software engineer at Facebook, updated June 30th. I guess one of the questions I have, do all of these people know that their names are being used on this list, or maybe I'm sure some of them do, being that there's associations with Sarah Bott, but not all these people, like this guy and the other, some of these other people, don't have associations with Sarah. So maybe the people without associations don't even know their names being used, and therefore maybe they should know, because then they'd be getting paid. But I'd be interested. Anybody could email or send these people a note, ask them if they know that they're dead. According to the mainstream news. Ji Gao, again, June 27th. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this one, but 13 hours ago lives in Taiwan. Again, May 1st, cross it off. Chitana Kolikar, cross it off. Also had her brother, and I thought it was kind of ironic. He had Simply Awesome with money posted on April 24th. So my guess is that he just got paid from somebody. I'm not going to name any names, but again, I found it interesting because he had some friends posting, and then you can see he's got a friend post here, and he's got thanks, Prathamesh, and Omkar, Hani, Yash, but you don't see any of these names here, and that's because he actually deleted what their comments were. So like he was hiding something he didn't want us to see. And then again, you see here, I said thanks for like, not for comment. So he's even kind of telling his friends, hey, don't comment, that I'm alive, even though I'm supposedly dead. That would be my guess. Again, I'm just going on a limb here, but Ying Jiang. This one's kind of interesting. Works at IBM, lives in China. Okay, 7 hours ago, I had this post. And she's in China right now, but back on July 9th, which was not too long ago, she had a post about San Francisco. Welcome back, Sebastian Enderlein. Thank you for the chocolate and drink. So I saw this guy, and immediately I thought, oh my God, this guy looks really CIA-like, just with the glasses, the suit, this setting. I don't know, looks like something out of, I don't know, 90210 or, I don't know, Miami Vice. But anyways, if you check out this thing there, he's definitely got a German affiliation. I'm not sure what that stamp is on his phone, but it looks kind of interesting. Some kind of government military thing. I'm not sure. Obviously, looks like they just went for drinks. Not really serious eating or anything. So not even for drinks, just for a chat. He gave her chocolate, but I'm sure maybe there was something more in the box than chocolate. This one is one of the most important ones. This one blows the lid off everything, and I mean everything. This person is Chu Kar Hui. She was on the list, 370 list. You won't find this exact name because they butchered the last name. They actually called it Chu Kar Mui, an M-O-O-I. That's the spelling that they used, but I can rest assured you there is no Chu Kar Mui. They purposely misspelled this one. Not sure why, but they were trying to definitely hide her identity. So it just goes to show that they'll falsely put names. How do I know? How can I verify that this person is in fact who it is? Well, again, if I scroll down, I see that oh, Sarah is a friend of this person, and now maybe she was a friend because this person was a family member of the dead, but this person is one of the dead, supposedly, and then she's posting 5 hours ago. So this tells me that Sarah has a dead person from MH370 friends on her Facebook, and she is posting now. And just so you guys, just to give an example, a couple examples of misspellings, I gotta say purposely misspellings. Here's another one. They had Henry C. I'm not sure if there's a last name or not because it was not on the manifest. But what was on the manifest was just Hendry with a Y. Well, if you look on the picture that they provide, you can see it's Hendry with an I. So again, how do you misspell these words if it's going through using passports? Names misspellings are never wrong unless there's a passport misspelling. That would be the only way. And even then, they probably wouldn't let you board a flight if your name was spelled wrong. Again, here's one. Date of birth's all botched. This was back in the news. Found it interesting. Mukherjee, 42, Vice President of China Operations for XCoal Energy, which has an office at One Energy Place in Latrobe, according to its site. So this guy is Vice President of XCoal, and if we go into more details in a minute about why this might be important, but I thought it was interesting because this is his wife's posting, and if you look at her post, March 5th was the last post. If you actually pull up her Facebook, you'll see that she used to post approximately once a week. So she has actually stopped posting and hasn't had any posts, which is odd. He also doesn't have any posts on his since September 13th, but he just didn't post as much, which is pretty typical for older males. They don't have much to say on Facebook. But back when he did say it, one of Excoal's planes in our state, if the Art Hanger built last year, and somebody said any plans to own one such bird in the future, implying that this guy, again, is probably stacked with cash. What I found interesting, Justice sues Thrasher. This guy, James C. Justice, after 9 affiliates are suing Pennsylvania coal exporter Xcoal Energy and Resource, led by Ernie Thrasher of Florida. They tried to get information from Ernie Thrasher about the MH370 of his vice president, and he didn't have anything to say about it. So interesting to see, because this Jim Justice that's suing this company, net worth $1.6 billion. And if you read through the article, it's because they basically reneged on a coal deal with this guy, and he's trying to get his money back. He's suing, and when that kind of business happens with this much money, it makes you wonder. This is one of the families which maybe is it not actually fake? Could there be some kind of motives going on in the background where not everything is a 100% that MH370 was a false flag, and 100% that it's all real, or maybe it's a mix, blend of both, which I would have to lean with some various things. But another thing I found interesting, Soufiane Ramlan is the only person I could find who actually marked on their thing, worked at Freescale Semiconductor, is the only guy. And again, posted March 7th, previous post February 11th. You'd see that he would post, probably post something between now and then. Has not, and associated with Freescale Semiconductor, pretty sketchy. I'll let you be the judge. Going back to the patent, there was applicants Paidong Wang, Zhijun Chen, Zhishang Cheng, and Li Ying. These people were the actual inventors of the patent that was supposedly Freescale Semiconductor's patent. And as you can see, the assignee, Freescale Semiconductor, Austin, Texas, March 14, 2014. You can pull up the patent number if you want to the actual patent. One thing important to note, the file date was actually back in 2012. The date of the patent is actually March 11th, so it's not like this was filed for, it was actually filed for a while ago, so it's been in the works, obviously, and I'll get a little bit more into this. I found this supposedly, I don't know how credible this resource is, but supposedly, if there's no percentages listed, then you take the percentages of each person listed on the thing. So that would make everybody a 20% shareholder. If a patent holder dies, then the remains holders equally share the dividends, so they're decreased if not disputed in a will. If 4 of the 5 dies, and the remaining 1 patent holder gets 100% of the wealth of the patent. That makes logical sense to me. I'm not 100%, I can't verify this 100%, but if this is true, and then I had pulled up a thing because, let me just jump back once more. You notice they're on the applicant list and inventor list, but they are not on the assignee list, and I couldn't, I wanted to make a distinction between the two. So can someone please explain to me what is the difference between an assignee and the inventor? And if you read through this, basically what it says is that the inventor is the one that creates it. The assignee is the one that receives all of the beneficiary value once the patent is complete. So if they work for Freescale, then Freescale has the rights of that, has 100% of the rights altogether. So there shouldn't be any issues. The only way that they would have 20% rights is if they worked as a sole contractor or worked in their own company. The issue here is that the media keeps pushing that these people work for Freescale, and it turns up, if we check out Pidang Wang, he does not work for this company. He works for Ahura Scientific. Again, I'll pull up Jijun Chen, Senior Process Engineer at Applied Materials, San Francisco Bay, Argonne National Laboratory. I'm sorry, that was previous. Current is Applied Materials. So these are 2 of the 4 people. I couldn't find any information on the other 2 people, but this is enough to tell you that these people do not work for semiconductor or Freescale Semiconductor Company. Were they shared inventors? Were they inventors? Did Freescale probably pay them money for their work? Yes, but in terms of patent percentages, these people's fair shares are 20%. Excuse me. So this is why this is so important, because supposedly this patent is worth potentially billions, multi-billion dollars, multi-billions. Oops. And so let's see. We have next we have this fighter jets intercept plane that breached summit flight restriction. This is one of the most crazy things, because they held the summit back in March 24th. This was a little bit after MH370 crash. The Royal Dutch Air Force scrambled fighter jets to intercept a cargo plane that entered Dutch airspace without proper clearance as world leaders gathered in the Netherlands for a nuclear security summit. The LAN cargo Boeing 777 bound for Amsterdam from Miami was diverted away from Dutch airspace due to restrictions around the summit in The Hague. Okay. LAN cargo Boeing 777 bound for Amsterdam from Miami. How the hell is a plane coming from Miami and then getting diverted away over for this? And what's good to note, the plane was later permitted to continue to Amsterdam, the airline said. All this kind of BS rhetoric here, I don't believe. But right here is what we need to know, where the plane ended up, because I wanted to know if it made it out of Frankfurt, and they confirmed that it did go into Amsterdam, which is important because it brings us back to this Boeing 777 that Tel Aviv has had in storage since November 2013. Being that GA Telesys is located in Fort Lauderdale, most likely what they did was take this plane in storage, ship it out to their GA Telesys main hub in Fort Lauderdale, fly this plane out from Miami to attack or threaten to attack or crash into the nuclear summit convention and blame it on the Iranians. So this was actually, could potentially have been the biggest catastrophe, biggest thing that would have went down in history, because there was all the world leaders there, and who would have been blamed for it? Iran. And you see Iran is doing everything that they can to kind of rein in their everything that they have to do with the EU guidelines. They just had in the news today that they have been passing all the guideline checks, and Israel at this point is just pulling at straws to try to pin something on Iran and the other countries to keep their foothold in the Middle East. And again, one of the huge things, Sarah about MH17. This post concerns me. If we look closer at the aircraft registration, is clearly not 9M MRD but 9M MRC. Is this an older picture, or do they have the wrong registration? And she's talking about that picture posted by Corpan. Again, that picture really did them in. And what she's talking about, I couldn't figure this out, but this 9MRD and MRC is actually this thing here. You can see the RC anyways. I can see the RC down at the bottom. So she knew just by looking at this picture that this was not the right plane, that they had made some kind of the person photographing the plane, which supposedly was supposed to leave because it shows RD in the photographs of the crashed plane, and it shows RC here. So for final confirmation that this plane, in the news, they've been confirming 9M MRD is in fact the plane that crashed in the Ukraine, but it's not, because this is the one that Korpan took and he was on it, right? 9M MRC right here, and she knows it's an error. She knows it because, not because she happened to see this little thing on here miraculously. No, she knows it because she works with Israel. She is most likely working with the Mossad or working with some kind of agency. She knew there was an error because she's part of the game. And just to kind of finalize, I thought it was funny because they had Mr. Chong Wei had made a statement about Malaysia, and I had managed to pull up this picture on accident. And again, I mean, perfect symbolism. I got Malaysia Airlines right in the background, little badminton thing right at the top of the icon here. I don't know, it's just a picture perfect symbolism, if you will. But I'll leave it at that. Again, a lot of information thrown out at you. You can do your own analysis and own verification if you want. All the URLs are available. If you want to dispute any of this, I'm more than welcome to hear disputes on here. I'd be more than likely to answer any questions and make comments if you find any of this information to be inaccurate. Thank you, and good night.